Hey. Hi. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you all for joining me. Looks like I'm just by myself right now, but that's fine. That's fine. But I wanted to go live and kind of do a recap of my week/day. Um, I have been attending this Purdue University Extension Office held class called Mastering Home Food Preservation. They are hitting almost all the methods of home food preservation. So there are 5 methods: canning, of course, dehydrating, freezing, fermenting, and smoking. And sometimes they put pickles into their own category, but I feel like pickles are either canned or either fermented. Therefore, I don't think they should have their own category. But that's just me. But there are multiple methods of home food preservation and smoking. Like when I told my mister, smoking was a method of food preservation, he's just like, what? Because he loves to smoke some meat, and usually we eat what is smoked, but have to think about it. We used to see those pictures, and they would have like the smoke houses and their cured meats all up in there, and they would hang like they weren't refrigerated. My screen just blacked out, so I stopped for a second. I was like, I don't know if it blacked anyone else's end, but on my end, yeah, it did black out for a quick second. But yeah, I was just kind of recapping everything that I've been going through this week. It's been a good week. Learned a lot of the science. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for joining me. Today in class, we did pickles 2 ways. We did the piece of everything. We did quick pack bread and butter pickles. And those pickles looked good. Hey, Vestia. Hey, Rebecca. So I am going to put the link in the chat if anyone wants to come up and join me. We can talk about canning or preserving food or your day, whatever, what you got going on this heat. But we did quick pack bread and butter pickles, and those looked good. I've never done bread and butter pickles. I've always done like the spears. But they look, I ain't lying. I wanted to but we were in a sanitary kitchen, so we couldn't have did that. And they were just cucumbers a couple hours ago, so they weren't really going to develop the taste or anything. But I mean, they was looking good. And then we also did sweet cucumbers. And we did those in spears. Honestly, they don't look as good as the bread and butter pickles. I don't know if the bread and butter pickles absorbed more of the brine or if it was the ingredients they used. It was probably the ingredients they used, because now that I'm looking back on it, for the bread and butter pickles, we did pickling salt, vinegar. We did sugar, mustard seed, celery seed, and ground turmeric. And I think it was that turmeric that gave them that kind of caramelized color. That's exactly what it was, because like I said, I wanted to grab one. And the other one, it was just vinegar, salt, and sugar. So yeah, it was that turmeric that was teasing me. But they looked real good. So we did those today. And tomorrow when we go home, I'll have all those jars to take with me so I can show you. But today in class, we just went over those, and they kind of went over the basics of pickling and why we do what we do when we pickle and how it helps raise the acidity level, why it's safe for you to water bath can pickles. Like yesterday, you can water bath can pickled asparagus, but if you're just canning asparagus in water, you need to pressure can it. So they went over that, and then they also went over the fundamentals of fermenting. I wish, and I understand why we don't really have a way to take that home, but I wish they would have at least demonstrated fermenting pickles or doing something like that, because I feel like that's where I get hung up on the solution, the brine for fermentation process. So I wish they did that a little bit more in depth, but it's okay. Hop in chat. Oh, thunderstorm just started. Don't know how long it can last. Be safe. Back in the day, my grandma, anytime it thunderstormed, she would turn off the TV, turn off whatever electricity she had, the lights. And if it got really bad, we had to go sit on the stairs. Did anyone else have to do that? Storm coming on the stairs. It was hot because we was in the stairwell. Don't say nothing. Couldn't stand it. Hi, Mona. So yeah, I'm doing a recap of just getting started, recapping. Oh, girl. I heard. I was about, I'm not going on the stairs. No. In the living room. I'm not going. but to StreamYard, if anybody wants to come up and join me, we can chat or do anything like that. But I'm of the day of what we did. So some of my personal notes that I took. They said right about that, because apparently you couldn't talk when it was storming because your volume was going to make the lightning draw to the house or something. But they said in terms of a year, so 365 days, your cheapest method of preserving is canning. Your second is dehydrating, and your third is freezing. And they say the reason they put freezing in there is because you're running your freezer full, all year. You never turn your freezer off. And they're saying with dehydrating, the amount of electricity that is used to dehydrate for that specific time, I guess, in ratio and everything. I felt kind of good that canning was the cheapest. And no, it's not an upfront cost. This is an overall of a year. You get your jars, you can them, you sit them on the shelf. You don't have to do anything else with it. But dehydrating, I feel like there's been times where I've ran the dehydrator for garlic or something for at least 24 hours. And it could have been because I went home or I had to go to work. So I wasn't back at home to turn anything off. But I have. And then, like I said, the freezer, it's constantly running. Hey, love lady, how are you? Hey, pow pow. So I'm just recapping what we did today. So we talked about pickling and fermenting. They said when you're when you're dehydrating, we also talked about dehydrating. That's how I got on this. When you're dehydrating, you do want to stay away from fatty foods. So if you're doing jerky, you want to at least cut the fat off, or just go for a leaner meat or something like that. And they were like, that's why you don't see very much of the dehydrated avocados, which I tried to dehydrate some avocados. And let me tell you, them things look nasty. They look nasty. And it was a weird texture. It was like the outside was hard, but the inside was still soft. I pitched it. Not for me. But she was saying the fat level in avocados are so high, you don't really want to dehydrate avocados. One thing that I am going to try is honey dipped banana chips and dehydrating those. Trying to stay in the chat. Hi, Ann. So I asked one of my instructors about what I emailed you about. Hey, Pitts. Hi, Tina. How are you? It didn't work. No, it did not work. You cannot dehydrate avocados. They too fatty, which makes sense now. But no, they were talking about some honey dipped banana chips. So you just take your bananas, slice them all up. Instead of putting them right on the dehydrator, dip them in some honey. She was like, you would not believe how good they are. She was like, they taste like little pieces of candy. And that's easy. That's easy. Do that right then and there. So I will definitely be trying that. Hi, Audrey Willis. Thank you for joining me in the live today. So I want to copy the link again. If anybody wants to come up and join me, I don't know how to do the little banner thingy. There we go. Okay, so I put the link in there if anybody wants to come up and join me. As kids, we used to like and sit and swing on the front porch during storms, but now I limit electricity use. I love just listening to the storms in our bedroom. I don't know if it's because we're closer to the central air, but you can't really hear it in the bedroom. So if I know it's going to storm, I'll go and sleep on the couch because I love to hear it. We have to get Pit Stop Kitchen and Gardening canning again. We do. They said that it's important to condition your fruit to make sure you get all the moisture out. So conditioning is after it's gone through the dehydrator and you think it's done. She was like, just put it in a glass jar, something that you can see. It doesn't have to be a mason jar. It could be a old pickle jar or a mayonnaise jar, but she said something you could see. And she said, just leave it on the counter. And she said, in about 24 hours, come back and take a look at it. She said, if it's not fully dehydrated, sometimes you can see condensation on the inside of your jars. And then she says you can even take it a step further and watch it for a couple more days. But she was like, the sugar content in fruits. We got a special guest. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. So stupid. I don't know what that was. You ready?
You know I can hear you.
What was that signal?
I was like,
That's what like, what is that?
so hey Tia, I'm glad you made it through day 3. Show us that thick book again. Baby, turn it around. Maybe you just really making it look thicker than
I'm not making it look thick. Look at them papers. Them chapters.
And what part of the chapter you on right now?
Out of 8 chapters, we finished chapter 5. So tomorrow we will be in chapter 6 with jams and jellies.
So all right. So welcome everybody to the room. Hugs and kisses to you all. So conditioning. Okay, go ahead.
So she was saying conditioning is because of the sugar content in fruits. They have a tendency to hold more moisture, which, you know, fruits is juicy. That's why we like them. She said they have a tendency to hold more moisture. And with vegetables, you can snap them or pop them. But she was saying you can't always tell if that fruit is completely dry. So she said an easy way to do it is to put it in some type of glass or plastic jar as long as it was clear. And just let it sit on the counter for about 24 hours and see if condensation pools around your inside your jar. If condensation pools inside your jar, you know that those aren't fresh, or you know they're not dry.
Because if they're not dry, they can create mold. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely, yep.
But if they're dehydrated well, they'll be dry and they won't create mold.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a few things that dehydrated, so we don't have to water pressure those jars. We don't have to seal those jars. We can just close them.
You don't have to seal them. If you want them to last longer, you should seal them because moisture will eventually get in there because there's no seal. So if I'm like let's say I go to Costco and I get 10 pounds of sugar and I know I'm not going to use all that sugar, I will put it in jars, and I do have a vacuum seal, and I'll put those down in the basement just so
it can stay fresh.
Yeah, so it stays fresh because moisture will get in there.
So that's what I was getting to. Like, how do you preserve dry goods? So you have to preserve dry goods with a vacuum seal.
I've also seen people, like, if they put them, if they're getting like the big, the big amount. I've seen them put them in like those 5-gallon buckets
with the Mylar bag.
Yeah, Mylar bag, and then like oxygen absorbers in it or something. I've seen them do that. I'm not there yet.
And if you're learning canning, you learn dehydrating too. In the same class.
Yes, we're doing all methods of food prep. Almost all methods of food preservation. So we're doing canning, dehydrating, freezing, and fermenting. We're not smoking meat.
Okay, so what part of the class that you're interested in all of it?
I was interested in all of it. I really wanted like a hands-on with fermentation because I've dabbled in it a little bit. Where I get confused is I've like followed Ball's recipe, and they like get this much water and add this much salt. And I've seen other people where they weigh their water and then they weigh the salt. And I'm like, what's the difference?
You have a big question in the chat.
I tried dehydrating plantains, and I think I put too much lemon juice on both sides.
There you go. I can see it better now.
On both sides, they wouldn't get hard and crispy, and ran the dehydrator at least 24 hours. I had to trash them. Karen, where are you? Where do you live?
That's not Karen.
I'm sorry, Catherine. My apologies.
Look, I'm like, I see it over here little. I see it over here big. Like, put it back up. Hey, you guys, welcome.
Welcome.
Do they offer this class online?
You took for my area, no. So I have seen it online. Because like I was really digging for this class, and mostly it's through the universities, through your extension office. And I believe it was the University of Utah, maybe even California. They did some online classes, but in my area, they did not offer it on class. So I actually traveled. I'm in Lafayette. I'm from Fort Wayne, so it was a 2-hour drive.
So you had to travel 2 hours to participate. Well, that explains why you're in a hotel. Duh. If
Catherine,
I was 30 minutes away, I would have stayed home.
oh yeah, if I was 30 minutes away and I was waiting for them because it was between here and another place that's about 30 minutes away, but they ended up doing it here. Catherine, I want to know where you live, if that's okay, or at least what region are you in, because they kind of said something about that in the class. I'm looking for it.
Oh yeah, did you? So I have a steam canner. Do you have a steam canner?
I don't.
Okay, and it always talk about the elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing your elevation is
You have to
important.
know that when you're water bath canning or pressure canning.
I didn't know that.
Yes, because if yes, because depending on where your elevation is, you might have to add those weights to your pressure canner. Those are what those are for. If you live in California, you need to add more weight. Not California, like Colorado in the mountains or something, you need to add more weight. So if you're canning anything, you do need to know your elevation. Hey, Triple H.
I don't know if I got more than one weight with mine.
Your pressure canner?
Right.
Well, I got one weight, but if I there's three weights on that dingy thing, and each one is 5 pounds, 5, 10, 15. Where I am, I use the 10, and I don't even know where the 15-pound weight is.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go pull mine out and double check.
Okay.
Definitely before I can some more chicken,
Mm-hmm.
because chicken is the most common thing I like to preserve as far as
Mm-hmm.
meat. Now I would like to do some fish,
and anything, because it'll even tell you in the books, if you are this elevation, you need to add 5 minutes, you need to add 10 minutes. So that's why you need to know. And on that website, the National Center for Home Food Preservation, there is a link and it will tell you your elevation.
Yeah, that's what I remember Love Lady when she first came on and she had read the book for us. And when she talked about elevation, that made me say, well, I didn't even think that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
But that was for the steamer
Mm-hmm.
that we have. But I didn't even know that for the canner.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm still here because I don't eat all my chicken and my turkey. It's gone. Anything and my collard greens with the meat. Everything gone. But I don't think I did that right.
So I was looking for it, but I can't find it. But they said, like, I'm in the Midwest, and especially in these summer months, it's too humid. It's too much. It's too humid. And what is humidity? It has moisture in the air. So you're trying to take the moisture out of. I'm going back to Catherine's question where she said they never got dried. You're trying to take the moisture out of something, but there's natural moisture in your air. So that might have affected it, or it could have just been a rainy day or something like that. So you have to think about that too when you're dehydrating, because you don't want to just run that electricity all that time, and you're kind of defeating the purpose because the atmosphere is so wet. So you have to think about that too. Or it could have been that it could have just been that I really think probably the atmosphere was wet. Either it was rainy, snowy, humid, something like that. And
so you say try again.
Try again. Try again.
Now, the first day
you don't succeed.
The first day you talked about even the books that say ball may not be approved. That don't mean every recipe is approved.
Right.
You don't like taking no chances, do you?
I don't play.
She said, "Oh, I've been playing around. I have been playing around. Her Healthy Home and Tia has warned me time and time again. That ain't approved. You better not be doing this." I mean, what do you think about the HP strips? Did y'all talk about that? Is that very important?
They did not. I know Triple H. She did a video, and
yeah, she did.
Did she have a blackboard behind her? Why do I think there was a blackboard behind you? You was
because
like,
she's an educator. Because she's an educator.
That's right.
She should get up here. She should get up here and talk about
She
it.
should. She took us to school in that video. I invite anyone to check out her healthy home. It's an older video, maybe about a year ago, but I feel like she had a blackboard and was like bam, 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 using equations and everything.
I feel like when I started canning, I wanted to really learn how to do it, and I was afraid. I was afraid of pressure canning, not because of the machine. I wasn't afraid of blowing something up. I wasn't afraid of that.
I've never
I
been
was
afraid of
afraid
that
of
either.
foodborne illnesses. I was afraid of botulism, and I
So I
still am.
posted the link if anybody wants to come up. Triple H, if you want to come up, if you're decent, if you want to break it down for us, but it's up there for anyone.
So I just felt like, you know, I kind of joke around and play around so much. I even think some stuff is comical because I didn't even understand. Like when I would talk to Triple H, why would you want to can water? She's like, what if you need water?
You're
Like,
right,
well,
right.
yeah, if you need water and you don't have water and you don't have water preserved, but at the same time, it was it's also showing that you can do accomplish this task.
Oh yeah.
So I think Ann canned water with her new electric canner, and I didn't have no problem with that because it was she was basically testing out this machine. Which do they talk about electric canner at all? Are they forbidden?
They no, they're not forbidden, but you want to make sure you are using an electric water bath canner or you're using an electric pressure canner that has been, both have to be approved by USDA. And I had mentioned that when I first started pressure cooking, my first electric pressure cooker had a canning button on it. And I thought I can. And I remember the very first time I canned, I had no idea what I was doing, no idea what I was doing. And I went and got them quart jars and I tried to put that quart jar into that pressure cooker and it didn't fit. Thank the Lord, it didn't fit. But that got my wheels turning and I started looking up stuff and looking up stuff. And that's how I got so that's how I found out pressure canning versus water bath canning using citric acid and all that stuff just because of that. But I looked up that pressure cooker and they were talking about how this was years and years ago, but I feel like they were saying there was even like a class action suit because they had false advertised that
Wow.
and you could can in that pressure cooker, but you could not. The difference is on a regular pressure cooker, you don't have those weights. That weight is what you need to get that water up to temperature to kill off everything. That's the difference between a metal stovetop pressure cooker and a metal stovetop pressure canner. Is that
Catherine was saying I never considered the atmosphere.
Mhm.
And
I didn't either. I didn't either. They said it today, and I was like, "Whoa!"
I didn't either.
Probably
I
why it
didn't
takes
either
so
know.
long sometimes.
So you talked about the conditioning. What was the next thing you studied?
Pickling eggs.
Pickle eggs.
I had to write this down in hot pink. I took it out my purple, y'all. I had to put it in pink. Pickled eggs. There is no safe canning recipe for pickling eggs. If you are pickling eggs, um, they should only be stored in the refrigerator. They should not be canned. They should not sit on the shelf.
But they sell pickle eggs in the grocery store.
I was thinking that too, but I think they're in. It's in the deli. It's in the refrigerator. Well, and
No.
also realize that what's in the grocery store, we can't can everything we see at the grocery store because they have those industrial canners that get higher than our stovetop pressure canner. So they probably can do it because they got them big giant canners that can do it. I can't do it on my
Yeah.
street. Almost killed
I've
me.
seen those red pickle eggs all my life and those pickle
Mm-hmm.
egg feet also. Right at the convenience. Yeah, yeah, y'all don't have convenience stores with pickle eggs and pickle pig feet on the
You know
counter.
what? I ain't see no pickle pig feet. I see like pickle pig feet in the movies.
No, in
But
the convenience stores. I mean, they
around
got them.
here,
They got them here in South Carolina too, and I'm from Virginia, and they got
Fort
them
Wayne,
here.
Indiana.
But I don't be going in everybody convenience store because I ain't
Uh-huh.
around here. I ain't from around here, so I ain't going in your convenience store. I got to go to regular stores. My
Mm-hmm.
convenience store days are over because I'm not from your neighborhood, so I'm not going to your neighborhood convenience and mess around and catch a bullet. I mean, because most convenience stores are majority in low income areas,
They are.
and the traffic, you just don't even know what's going on.
And
So those
traffic from
stores,
that because they're convenient.
they're convenient to the people who live in the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
not me. That's why I don't go no more. But yeah, they it's a we do have two convenience stores that here. Now they may know my husband, they even may know Naya, but they don't know me. And when I went in there and saw eggs in the shell,
Mm-hmm.
sitting in salt on the counter, out in the open.
Well, did they do it or did they purchase it?
No, they did
So
them. They
so
boiled
Ann
the
said,
eggs.
wait, say that again. How are we supposed to store those eggs? If you are pickling eggs, the only if you are home pickling eggs, there is no proven tested recipe to pickle them like water bath can or pressure can them. You need to put them in the refrigerator.
It's a channel that's in Alaska, and they pickle a lot of eggs. I got some recipes from them, but they never showed how they stored those eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure those big gallon jugs
Right,
will go in the refrigerator.
right.
So I don't know if they were putting them in the cellar or where they were putting these eggs. But I've seen videos.
Uh,
I've seen the videos.
so Christiane says they do have them. My husband eats them. Are you saying the pickle pig feet? Y'all, this is my sister. So she's in Fort Wayne. You saying they got pickle pig feet in Fort Wayne? I ain't
Yep,
never
and,
seen
and they be half pickled pig feet and pink juice,
I ain't never seen
and pickled sausages.
I ain't never seen them.
Yeah, they got them. You ain't going to the convenience store.
Hey Tia. So this is my father-in-law, guys. Say hi, Pops.
Hey, pops. Father's Day coming up, pops.
But yeah, so that's all that I have of my personal notes, but I did highlight some stuff in the book. And one thing that blew me away was they were like in all caps, do not try to dry milk or eggs at home. These foods may be contaminated with salmonella bacteria and provide very good growth media for these and other kinds of bacteria. Drying them will not kill them.
Say don't dry milk and don't dry eggs.
That's what they said.
I
I've
won't want to do. I won't want to do that anyway.
I've frozen eggs, like crack the egg,
Okay.
put it into like a little muffin pan, and put them all together and put them in the freezer. But I've never dehydrated them or anything.
Okay. Okay. So don't do it. Now, I missed yesterday, but did you talk about canning butter? Did they talk about butter?
They did not canning butter, but what they did say was you can't can dairy or fats, and butter is both, right? It's a dairy and a fat.
So what happens?
I'll ask that question, but I believe what happens is it separates.
Okay.
And but I do know that with canning fat, they say that they can't ensure that the heat is penetrating all the way through the fat to make sure it's killing off all of the bacteria that is there. So, okay, butter separates, it's gonna cool down, you're gonna be good, but you can't ensure that it's going to kill everything. And that's the most important thing. I know we have rebel canners, and there are times where I can something and I'm like, just put it in the refrigerator. But if it's gonna sit on my counter, I would feel horrible if if Pops or my sister or somebody went down there in the
Right.
basement to grab them something to eat and I made them sick, I gave them a hospital stay or something like that. For me, for my peace of mind, I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Now, there are some things that I know suspect that I might eat myself, but I'm definitely not letting nobody else eat it.
So between this class that you
You
take
said
with
yes, pickle pig feet.
you got somebody named Miss April. Welcome, Miss April.
Hi,
Welcome,
Miss
Denise. Oh,
April.
that pops.
I got
So
I got
between what you did with this class with Purdue, correct? Purdue,
yes, yes.
and what you did online, is it more informative? Did you feel like you missed something the first time and are surprised? Or
I
you
feel like I
already
missed
knew?
something the first time. The first time was just watching, like watching YouTube, pre-recorded videos. You couldn't ask any questions. With this, it's an open lecture. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Hands
I got
on,
a
hands
question.
on.
It's hands-on. And then, we get a break for lunch and then we come back and we actually do it. And there's a main instructor and there's about 4 or 5 other instructors floating around and you can ask them, what you doing? You stupid. But it's hands on. You can ask them why you in the moment, why you think of something. And they've even been like, write your questions down. If you think of something while you at home, write it down and come on here and ask.
Right. So that's good to know that when you guys take and learn the lesson, then you come back off a break and go right into
We
it.
do it. Yep. Yep.
Hands-on learner is a kinesthetic learner, and that's me. So I'm gonna look it up in my area and see um, what something. Now we didn't. I asked about costs. Did you talk about costs?
It was $200.
It's okay.
It
It's
was $200.
worth it. Your
It
life
was worth
is
it. They gave me a parking pass for the garage.
Oh, hold on. You didn't get a parking pass?
They gave me a parking pass. We said otherwise I would have to pay for the garage. I'm also taking everything that we've canned, everything that we've made. I will be taking home tomorrow.
You get to take the jars
Yes.
and the food.
Yes.
And you didn't buy any of that.
No.
That's awesome. How many jars you think you're going home with?
Just one each.
One each.
Just of everything we did, there was 8 of us in the class, so they did 9 jars of everything. We had 9 jars of everything.
Are you guys going to you're fermenting tomorrow?
No, we're not fermenting because with fermentation, you got to kind of wait.
Have y'all already studied into fermenting?
Yes, we covered that today.
Oh, so let's get some more questions then. I'll go because I didn't hear anything about fermenting yet.
I don't think I really had.
So fermenting.
I got to fermenting. My nerves was running thin, so I don't think
fermenting is. Oh, your nerves.
My nerves were running thin, so I didn't take any.
Don't let me go down in shame. Look, that's what I can't talk.
What I did, I highlighted right here. So it says the definition of a brine: water saturated with salt. The purpose of a brine is to, one, draw out the water in the vegetable. So when we first got to class, she was like, let's all go down to the lab, go down to the kitchen. And we got to put hairnets on. We got to have special, no open toe shoes, no shorts, got to wash our hands. And we cut up the pickles. And she put salt all over it and put ice on it. We put it in the refrigerator, and then we came back. And she said, this is why that salt is going to draw all the moisture out of that. So to draw the water out of the vegetable, to inhibit the growth of unwanted microorganisms, and to encourage the growth of acid producing microbes. So that's why we did that prep. And then once we came back about 3-4 hours later was when we actually did the pickles.
Okay. So Ann has a question.
Okay. Let me maneuver. I got a glare on my screen and can't see. Here it is. So it's okay to say on here, what did they say about canning green beans and ham broth? So I asked her about canning green beans and ham broth. She said, we can't can cured meats. And ham broth is more than likely a product of a cured ham. They have non-cured hams, but we all reach for our cured hams. She was saying at Purdue this is her saying it. At Purdue University, I cannot endorse that. So to me, it was like, okay, it should be okay. But at Purdue University, since I want to keep my job, I can't say.
So okay,
So that was your
that
answer.
was a hard question for her,
Uh-huh.
pretty much. Um, well, you can go to the next one. It was her
Well,
healthy
worth
home.
it to get to ask the questions you had. Yeah, I had a good time.
And then Miss Katrina was there.
I follow the same process as UTT to freeze my eggs, so that's okay, right? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, freezing the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm about to come into a lot of eggs, and I have to trust that I want to put mine in the lime water. I don't
Yeah,
know.
what's that called? Like water glassing your
Yeah,
eggs or something like
yeah,
that?
I know. I know her healthy home. She did a
Yep.
few before, and she
Mm-hmm.
used them, but I don't know. Going into canning and stuff like that, and preserving eggs. You thinking, wow, how can that even happen?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in fact, uh, it tastes just like a regular egg. But I
Have you
heard the
tasted
eggs,
one?
it tastes like a regular egg. No, no, no.
Oh, I was like, I
I'm
want
gonna
to
probably
know.
be I'm gonna probably be scared, but I'm gonna get over my fears because having hens, I'm gonna have a lot of eggs.
Yeah,
How many eggs can I freeze? How
right.
many eggs can I give away? Each hen lay up to it's 365 days a year. Most of the hens lay 355 eggs out of a year. Now, I went from eating. It works well, Lydia. The shells get a little soft, but they can tell. You can tell the difference as far as taste or as far as feel. Like I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I'll relax. I relaxed in canning,
Right.
and I relaxed in everything I'm doing here.
You just
I
got to do
relaxed
it.
in starting a garden. I relaxed in putting my hands in dirt. I relaxed in messing with bugs and picking bugs off and something I would have never touched. Because at one point, this is the way things were done. We have to remember it has not always been refrigeration.
You got that right.
There has not always been refrigeration or canning. And
Mm-hmm.
we might have died younger, but before now, even when they say back, before Christ, those people were living hundreds of years, they say,
Yeah.
in the book.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what were they eating? Was time faster or slower? I have no
Mm-hmm.
idea because 1 year go by like this. Before we know it, we gonna be 90, 100. We ain't gonna.
Triple H said it tastes the same, and if you sit it right, the egg will be in the same condition. Just make sure their protein levels are right.
The protein levels on who? The chicken?
That I guess the chickens, the hens.
Well, how would I know a protein level of a chicken? I
Ms.
guess I'll have
April,
to
I love
research.
seeing the other
I'll have to go
baseline
into
for that.
research for all of that
I
before
guess
I.
make sure you're feeding. I don't know. I ain't got no hens. I ain't got no chickens. But I guess if you know you're feeding them right, you know what they're going to produce. If you know what's going in, you know what's going to
I
come.
I know what I bought. I can't tell you what's in that stuff. That I only can tell you what the labels say. I don't. I
What the
can't
labels say.
what the labels say. That's why I'm growing so much more corn and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'm be able to produce enough corn to feed my flock for a year. But
Yeah.
that do sound like something I would love to do to
Yeah.
just grow a field of peas and a field of corn
She said the
just for the
food.
chicks. But it's not going to be that much.
The feed has to be a certain amount of protein to have nice thick eggs.
Well, we hope that this $25 feed I've been buying every month works. Well, it's not even every month no more. I go through a bag of feed within 1 month now. So
Wow.
I'm up to two
Because
bags.
they not chicks. You keep calling them the BBB chicks, but them grown women.
They girls.
They
They
women.
girls. They girls. They chicks. Chick magnets. Don't you see those fluffy bottoms? Um, Two of them I really do think is roosters. And what I've learned about the rooster, if the rooster has don't have another rooster, he may just try to blend in. And I think because this
I didn't know
particular
that.
hen is so little, he might don't have the confidence to be a rooster. So he's faking the funk.
He a boy.
He, he a
He a boy. He need to grow up. Be a man.
I got because he has this. They have this one alfalfa tail. Like everybody tail going a V. The back of a hen look like this.
Uh-huh.
But when you got a hen with, well, I can't put my middle finger up. It's a V. Oh, I can't do it. But it got this. I can't do it. But it got this. It got this sticking up. Like what is that? What is this one thing sticking up?
Did
I
you
don't know how
ever
to
get an
describe it.
answer? Did you ever get an answer when you asked YouTube when you did your short?
What?
Didn't you ask them what's this?
Oh, so yeah. So people said that was the sound of them, the sound they make before they lay an egg.
Oh. Oh.
So somebody read they lay an egg, but now they're saying it might be too hot for them to lay eggs. I didn't know they had a problem laying in the heat. I thought chickens had a problem laying in the winter. Make up your mind. Y'all tricking me.
So, Audrey Willis, are you fermenting their food? We're not fermenting there in the lab because it is a long process. You may wait anywhere between 3 weeks to 3 months, but we did go over fermentation in the class. You've
Do
got
you like do you like sauerkraut, Tia?
I do. I do. And I actually went in my Amazon and put some stuff in my Amazon cart to try it again.
Okay.
Before I even did YouTube, I did like I tried sauerkraut. I feel like where I lacked at Clausen's World has a video and she was saying you really got to muddle your cabbage down. You got to break it down. And I feel like I didn't break it down because it was very tough when we tasted it. So I do want to
Mhm.
try it again.
I do want to try it as well. Ever since I
Hmm.
started fermenting the tea,
Yeah.
and which
Yeah.
really is really addictive. Um, I don't. I've been asking people, so many people, do you drink kombucha? And then this guy finally said, "What did you just figure it out? I mean, find it." I'm like, "Yeah," because now you're like, you keep asking everybody, do they like that nasty stuff? Not, it's not nasty. It's, it's good and it's good for you. And I lost
Mhm.
6 pounds since I've been
All
drinking
right
it.
now. All right.
I just don't think it stay bubbly as long as the store bought. So I
Hmm.
don't know why theirs could stay so bubbly and mine's
And
just
once again,
bubbly.
like we said already, they're using commercial stuff.
Right.
They
It,
got,
it, it,
they got
it
different.
doesn't taste the same.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
doesn't taste the same. They taste like flavor,
Tastes
fizzy,
like it's
fizzy
carbonated.
ginger,
Hmm.
fizzy ginger or fizzy. It really is not flavorful like when you do it at home. It's
Yep.
much better.
Yep.
I
Hmm.
don't know. Mine, based off what I've learned, mine is better than store bought.
Hmm.
So, fit me food, the chicken feed, that's great. 6 pounds is a lot. Yeah, 6 pounds is a lot. I feel like my gut is healthier, and I felt like I was drinking. I'm out right now, so I bought store bought. Go
So I
ahead.
was looking over my notes, and another thing that I wrote down was she was like, the dehydrators where you don't have a temperature setting on it, which mine, I don't have a temperature setting. I turn it on, I turn it off. She said, be really careful with those because if you are dehydrating for jerky, it needs to be at 160 degrees, and some of them don't go up that high if you can't manually turn it. So something to keep in mind if you're doing jerky, you might want to check your manual and see how high does this actually get.
Mm,
And
that's
you know
smart.
what? Me and Mister did a batch of jerky and it got done. We ate it and he put it in a Ziploc bag and we put it up somewhere. And a while later, it was probably maybe a month or so ago, after we did it, I said, that jerky is molded. And he's what? That jerky is molded. Look at it. And we ended up having to throw it all away. But that
And
could
that
have
makes
been
sense now
Mhm.
because all the moisture didn't come out. Made
Right,
it
right.
look like it did, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was still full of moisture.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So no trying to make beef jerky with the presto. Unless you're gonna leave it on for 4 days, I guess.
I'm not doing that. That bill.
She said she ain't gonna do that. She gonna stick to tomatoes and vegetables. That's it. All right, you got a question from Audrey. Asked a question. Thank you, Ann.
Audrey is asking if you ferment the chicken feed. Oh, that's
So
you.
she's talking to me. So yes, I just fermented chicken feed, and because I heard that it helps the chicken lay eggs and it save money and it swell up the food and you use less. Well, the chickens weren't interested. They didn't want to eat it. They choicy. They bougie. They said, I put it in front of the chicken. I got a video. I got a video. The chicken put his little beak in there, took it out and wiped it on the ground. Like he wiped his mouth like nasty.
Wow.
So I didn't give then this is the third day. So what happened was I had something like an eggshell type container that I got, and because it was so much, and I had like a red tote. It's still out there. They knocked over the eggshell one, and all the juice came out. Because maybe I had too much juice in it. I don't know. But they ate it. But they still was not eating the bigger one. They were walking past it. Don't touch it. So I took and put more feed in it and swelled up the rest of the little liquid. And then I bet you I go out there today, tonight they ate it. I bet they ate it eventually because I ain't give them no more dry food. They
Catherine
choice.
left you a comment.
Okay. Lydia, your rooster chicken story sounds like you need to write a children's book. Well, I'm gonna have to listen to what I said, girl, because sometimes I be talking out the side of my neck. She talking about with the little tail. You a rooster, but you a chicken. Hey, they from what I learned from her healthy home is even though I pay for all hens, ain't nothing
You
they can
might
do
have a
if
couple
one of
in
them
there.
a rooster. But I don't. I have no idea. But I really. That sounds good. I'll go ahead and write that down. Children's book based off. And I'm a rooster that pretended I was a hen the whole time. Until they were what kept wondering why you ain't dropping no eggs.
Rooster in hiding.
Start going. Start. I can't wait to experience what they call broodiness and all of that stuff. I kind of want to experience what that looks like because I'm confused.
Now, is that when they want to lay eggs or when
It's
they
like
get pregnant?
they want to be a mama,
They want to
go
be a mama.
broody. I don't know why they named it go broody, but I gotta look it up. I haven't looked that far yet. Write a book,
Mostly
Lydia.
service.
I'm doing this from Dorsha. Dorsha, I don't know if y'all follow just Dorsha. Dorsha always say find your purpose, and she always want to know. Do you have an idea? Do you want to write a book? Let me help you write a book. Maybe I'll talk to Dorsha about writing a book.
All
Never
right.
know.
So I had asked yesterday, so I would like to do like a week of live canning. And something what I have planned now is I want to do green beans one day. I want to do pickles one day. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to see canned live?
Barbecue sauce.
I thought about that, but I think it's going to take too long. I would have to like either prep it first or can it. Either
So
one of
what about? It's gonna take too long. Well, you have to pressure can barbecue sauce.
I'm trying to remember. I
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Period.
Well, I'm more thinking to get it to cook, to get it to where you need it. It's gonna take about an hour or something for it to cook down and get those flavors to blend in.
Oh, it's a storm coming through, y'all.
Uh-oh.
The
Shh.
whole house rumbling.
Better be quiet.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to write this book.
She said yes, you yes, you have to cook it down. That's what I was thinking. Some kind of soup. We are out of chicken soup. We are out of chicken tortilla soup, and we liked both of those.
And what are you gonna be learning tomorrow?
Jams and jellies.
You know you
Corn.
got. You gonna tell the people you got a jam maker?
They already know. And actually, when we was leaving today, she's pulled hers out. So we're using the jam maker.
Hey, I need to know more about that jam maker. I overcooked my salsa. Remember, I did salsa in my jam maker before. That thing gets hot.
It
She
does
gets
get
hot.
hot.
So when you cooking your salsa, you don't have to cook it for 20. It only really
No.
needed. It really only needed 5 to 7 minutes because the 20-minute timer I put on it to stir it was too much, and it made my vegetables too soft for me.
And
I
that's
like
what they say with over processing. Like when you're canning, those when they say cook for 5 minutes, when they do that, they're not just saying just to do it to do it. It's like, okay, cook it to this level and then move on to the next one. It's going to take you right to where you need to move on to the next one. So some of them do say, bring to a boil, let simmer for 5 minutes, and then start canning.
okay.
KK said corn. I love me some canned corn.
We got a troll. What it do, troll? Is it the troll? No, that's Marcus. That ain't Marcus. I don't know. That might be a troll.
That's Marcus.
That look like a troll.
He said virtual hug. Hey, mom, virtual hug. You said that's harsh.
Oh, why I got all those dots and stuff in it? Because I had them little dots and symbol. Like, I
He
don't
gotta
know.
be difficult. He being difficult. Y'all, that's
Marcus,
my mister.
Marcus got that name spelled all difficult. Hey, Mister.
I canned some blueberry jam today.
You need to monetize him, so I ain't got to get that confused no more. He need to be a moderator. He need to
Oh,
be
it says
monetized.
it was
You think-
Mimi. That's my daughter.
Okay.
You on his phone? Where y'all going? Y'all driving? Okay, Mimi.
Hey, Mimi. She coming home tomorrow. She can't wait.
Y'all miss me. I know my dogs missed me.
Oh man, he probably letting Kodak hear you while you on this live that your mama go. Go ahead and make a short, Mimi, and put it up on YouTube. Well, you've been up here an hour. It was my pleasure to come up here and help you through this. But I have another channel, and it's called. I have another channel, and it's
You
called. Oh, sorry. I have obligations to be on another channel.
do? Uh-huh.
It's Humble Stewart's Crafting.
Tell
And
us
I'm
more about
having,
that channel.
and we ain't made nothing, but I got some new items I want to show. So I'm going to go show some things. So
Okay.
you guys could probably catch me about 6:15. I'm gonna run and see the Amazon drop my stuff off, so I can come
Okay.
up there. So
We gonna
you
catch
finish
you.
up here, and everybody, um, don't just be out there willy nilly with this candy thing. I've done it. I can show you examples of stuff I'm not gonna eat because I just don't trust
Yeah.
it. And Tia made a good point. You only get one Lydia. This is it. It's all you got. You might get somebody that's acting a little like, yeah, you remind me of so and so, but it ain't me. You only
You
get
might
one
get a
Naya.
Lydia, but
I
that
only
ain't
get one
Lydia.
Naya, one kite. So we cannot be playing, but we do need to be preserving food. It's no need to getting scared about it, worrying about it. It needs to be done. It has to be done. They can shut this thing down at any time, and you want to know your family's going to be taken care of, and you ain't got to run out there and be worried. I love it when Lady Cheryl says that her when doing that Antarctic snow thing they had, her kids ain't worried about her because she had plenty of food. She had
That's
plenty of
right.
food.
That's
And
right.
a lot of people don't even show their food, but I can tell y'all right now, before I came on YouTube, I was not preserving food. I was not even stocking up on food. I now have, since I've been, tag team with Lady Cheryl, her
Right.
healthy home, Tia. Those are just in Homestead Heart. I can
That's
say it.
right.
I mean, and Big Blue Blouse Homestead. I started learning about prepping, being prepared, having enough. I can tell you one thing: if something happen, I'm gonna be eating all this pasta. I might don't eat it now, no rice and pasta now, but trust, let me get hungry. I'm
Right. Right.
posturing it up.
I would tell Mister. He'd be like, "We need this. We got everything we need?" And I said, "You know what? Or you got everything?" I'm like, "We might not have everything we want, but we got everything we need. You might
Right?
want a little butter on that. But you got some margarine.
Yeah.
You
Some
We got
margarine,
everything we need."
oils, seasonings, and all that stuff is so important just to get that skill down pat. Because another thing, I'm gonna shout out all y'all my channels I learned from Eco.
Yeah.
Eco said, what is it that you can do for somebody? What is it that you can offer? I might can't. What if I couldn't? I don't know. I can do everything, kind of. But what if I couldn't build a house?
Right.
Well, I
Right.
can come in there and cook. I can preserve. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I can
Mm-hmm.
do those things. And they might put me down to be the comic. I might be
Mm-hmm.
a jester.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
I can contribute
Yeah,
one way or another. I can contribute.
yeah. Some way or another, I can contribute, and that's what it is important on. My family is relying on me because
Yeah.
if I relied on them, baby, would be number Oreos up in here. Would be number Oreos, Chips Ahoy, Little Debbie. I'm just saying, y'all, because these two is cookie monsters and sweet addicts. They love sweets. All
Okay,
right.
so you hop off and gear up, humble Stewart,
Let me get my.
and I'll close it out, and then we will follow
You
you
can
up.
come over and join me and see what I
We
got.
gonna come over. We gonna
Let
come
me
for a visit.
come on over for a visit. I'm gonna hold it down. Holla back.
She is great, y'all. She is great. She is my motivator. She always keeping me on my toes, getting me and doing stuff. But just to recap, I have really enjoyed this class. I invite anyone to go out there and see if they have a local class that they can attend. I've learned a lot. I have really learned a lot. And I just had a good time. I'm just soaking all that knowledge in. Um, but you said put the link in the chat. Let me do it. But yeah, I had a really good time. Invite anyone to check it out. I've learned so much, and it's telling you not only the basics. So let's say if you're new to canning and you've never canned anything, or you've only water bath canned, or you've only did pickles. It's not only telling you the basics, but it's telling you why we do what we do. which is going to help you in the long run. If there's anything, well, I don't know if I can do that. Well, let's think about this scientifically. If you can do this, but you can do this, can you do that? It's like an equation. Thanks, Anne. I had a really good time now. Really good time. Tomorrow is the last day. And I mean, not only do I have this big old workbook, which they gave me homework for tonight, but I am going home with this book. So easy to preserve. And I found out that, so the website that I always tell y'all about, that I rant and rave about, the National Center for Home Food Preserving, they put this book out. I was so hyped. So the University of Georgia, if anybody is in Georgia, the University of Georgia did this book. They also run the National Center for Home Food Preserving. That's my jam. And then I also have this book, which is the Complete Guide to Home Canning. And this is by USDA. So that, it's safe. You follow those steps. You do what they say you're supposed to do. Your stuff is safe. And that's like, okay, I'm gonna look down in the basement and I can tell my mama, I can tell anybody, go and get you some vegetable soup, because I know I followed those steps to a T. So my vegetable soup is safe. Eat up, eat away. Heat it up. Don't eat it out the jar. Heat it up, but go and have at it. So I am going to put the link in the chat really quick to Humboldt Stewart's Crafting, which is a channel that both Lydia and I do. And we usually do something. I don't know what she has planned today. I have no crafting equipment here, but I am here for moral support. So I invite you. We try to go live every Thursday, and we usually just post shorts of what we do and everything. So I'm going to put that in there. If I can get to it. I'm trying to get to it. There it is. Now, so I just posted the link to that channel. If you guys want to hop over there and join us, please give us a couple of minutes. I don't think she has anything queued right now, but I appreciate you. I will probably not go live tomorrow just because after the class, I'm going to head home. Maybe I'll go live a little bit later tomorrow. It's a 2-hour drive, so class is over at 5. I'm going to get home at 7. I'm going to have to sit down, play with my dogs, and chillax. But maybe I'll go live maybe around 9 o'clock if I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes, so we can do like a complete week recap. But if anybody has any questions you want me to ask them or look up or anything like that, you can post them or anything like that on my channel. But I appreciate you all, and you all have a great day, and we will see you over at Humboldt Stewart's Crafting.